Good afternoon, everyone. In December last month, I arrived back to India after 2 months of incredible traveling for work on foreign shores. The immigration officer had this grave, bored look, he had no smile, and he didn't care to reply back to my friendly greeting. He looks at me with this lazy cynicism, and bam! There's a stamp on my passport, and I'm home. Every single time I arrive back to India, I feel like everyone is really sad and has this grave, sad look for some reason. To fit in, I usually tone down my happiness and smile a lot less and look serious just to get my Uber to be dropped at the right address or just get literally anything done. The question is, why is India such a sad place and why are Indians so sad? My name is Mukul Bhatia and I'm a documentary photographer and I absolutely love my job. I worked in 44 countries and at times I get to have my face or my work at the billboards all across the nation and sometimes even outside of India. It's truly empowering to work so hard to recreate life values and create my own niche in an industry that's really packed. I love to challenge my fears, to tailor and reshape literally every aspect of my reality. And while Instagram filters can make things look really sassy, real life does not have filters. The road to passion is really curvy, but not impossible. When I was 18, I was a sleepless night owl, and I used to read a lot, take online classes alongside my studies, and after almost 10 years of experimentation with my life and my career, it's safe to say that my heart is truly happy, and it's just amazing to see the seeds that I planted 10 years ago take good shape right now and bloom. My photographic work, as mentioned, revolves around diverse stories like an honest visual montage of the war in Kashmir, daily lives of transgender sex workers in Pune, sustainability and bridging Indian artisans with avant-garde designers and fashion labels across the globe. With every assignment, I aim to provide an alternative narrative to subjects that mainstream media would not even talk about. After working on intense projects in over 44 countries and photographing thousands of humans asking them deep personal questions, I do know that India is sad, India is gloomy. We don't live from a place of passion. We live from a place of survival, even in 2020. Despite being some of the sharpest minds in the world, we've been taught to live for someone else all our lives, doing someone else's job, instead of realizing our own dreams. I mean, it's 2020, and even now we let our families choose the strangers that we get to marry after 3 months of so-called courtship period. I mean, how does that work and what does that even mean? I know my analogies might be upsetting a few people here. I mean, Mera Bharat Mahan, my nation is the greatest. But in America or France, patriots are not the one who blindly talk good about their countries like parrots. They're the one who highlight faults in their system, make it visible so that change could happen. Being offended on internet is not patriotism. It's kind of like cowardice. To clear what I'm talking about, it's not just me who's saying that India is an unhappy place. The United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network creates an annual database of World Happiness Index surveying in 155 nations. With measures like stability, security, job satisfaction, relationships, with different factors that compile, and guess what? India ranks 140 out of 155 nations. I repeat, 140th happy country out of the 155 nations. Pakistan, a country we love to compare with, is way ahead of the curve at number 67, and most of the countries that are behind us are in decades of war. So why, again, why is India so sad? When I heard about this talk to be in a premier school of learning with bright, young minds of future, I was way beyond excited since I've always believed that the youth holds surprisingly astonishing power for space, for reform, integrity, and change. And there's never been a more empowered, more conscious, and more democratic time for youth to share things, make things, change things, especially with internet. The medium has truly changed the way we see life, the way we order food, how we connect with each other, and how can we earn a living. This is probably the reason why grown-ups like to pick, change, or mute independent lung voices like Billie Eilish or even Greta Thunberg, who even at just 16 has a powerful voice in climate change, something we need to really talk about right now as what's happening to the world. And she's hated with memes, rumors, and whatnot from the powerful adult leaders like Donald Trump. Wonder why we are so insecure? Why are the adults so bullish? Why is it that the world is turning into Donald Trump? When I heard about this talk, we can't change the system in a month, but we can change ourselves in 3 weeks. I do believe that if each of us turn into responsibly happy adults and practice it for about 3 weeks, the world will be a great place to be with good, happy habits. In this talk, I'm broadly speaking about 3 core concepts that in everyday Indian reality could shape things for the better. Relationships or parenting, finding your true calling, and using internet for a better space. To start with, parenting and relationships. India has such high intensity of intergenerational traumas and abuse of power that it is further glamorized by the movies we make. Terrible abuse of powers across workspaces and relationships have been normalized and are now validated systems of oppression. It breaks my heart to see so many young minds and hearts being corrupted in the attempt of integrating this imaginary society, which is basically a bunch of sad neighbors whose sole job is to make sure you don't follow your dream and look like millions of others. The idea of log kya kahenge, what will people say, has stripped down the core concept of free will. Free will. Free will. Free will is the most important aspect of finding who you truly are and what your unique calling is. Our happiness truly is an independent, almost revolutionary decision with our own autonomous responsibility to ask the relevant questions, choose the right sources of answers, and finally creating the life map we wish to desire. Desires are not evil. Desires are subtle maps to the life we truly, truly want. Considering India's patriarchal structures, abuse flows like chain, from one to another, make a rigid system that crushes individuality. From an imaginary society that disabled a father's dream to the mother who sacrificed it all, pushing the envelope of patriarchy further to raise children that are too afraid to take steps to their independent and pursuit of happiness, sacrificing it all yet again for another disempowered, self-denying generation. When is this going to end? When are we going to own it up? This whole patriarchy and living for greater goods have really broken so many dreams and empowered so many wrong leaders that we have become a society of unhappy masses, not in tune with our emotions and constantly denying our true nature. And that really explains why we have chosen the leaders that run the country, leaders that run the world. They don't work for us, they work against systems that don't empower us but repress us. This manipulative chain of abuse results in gaslighting amongst many personal or work relationships. Gaslighting is a manipulation technique where an abuser tries to make you feel small, doubts your sanity, and in the long run, one loses their personal power and becomes a scapegoat. If you're not aware of the concept and feel a lot of self-doubt or unexplainable guilt, chances are you're being gaslit by someone you love and free will is endangered. You sacrifice your superpowers and the system only gets bigger and bigger. So now it's time to ask your questions. Until you have your answers, questions from yourself, your family, your friends, or your society. Which side of the system are you? The one that runs with sour dreams and fears, or the one that comes from an independent mind, love, and purpose? And when and if you decide to become a parent, what would you give your children? Will you stop this chain of abuse by recognizing your bit, or would you keep playing blind? Then comes an important bit, our work. We spend about 1/3 of our entire lives working. 1/3 of your entire life, calculated in hours, actually goes down to one workplace that you focus all your energy onto. That's where I think is your true chance to find happiness. With changing times and tinted economy, there's never been a need for excellent innovators and changemakers. That could only be possible if one is truly curious and willing to take the road less traveled and be the best in your field. So that's one start to ask the right questions. What are your callings? What do you truly want to change? What do you want to create, reform, or simply act on your reactionary stimuli? I understand that the need for security is important. An assured paycheck at the end of the month must be really rewarding, a concept that might make you want to sacrifice your true calling for something safer. But with almost every household mass-producing clones of engineers, MBAs, and chartered accountants, are we really safe in that assured check? Also, would you want to lose something that you truly love and desire and have a chance to be a global leader and change things for the better, but you don't want to do it simply for that sense of safety without even trying? While movies make your passion look easy, it really isn't a cakewalk. It's as much work as you'd want to be for a doctor or anything else. But being broke in my initial years of struggle, I think it was totally worth all the struggle. It was totally worth all the sleepless nights. I truly love my job, and I think that I've met so many people who felt that the initial years are always going to be hard, but once you find your true calling, once you find your passion, you really go for it and you get things done. So, this easy route, as we know, is not easy at all. Don't just complain. Do something about your calling, at least right now, for a few months or even a year. Just spend that time for yourself, write a journal, take that solo trip, figure your strengths out, and finally put a plan on paper, find that one niche and kill it like no one else can in the world. Don't doubt yourself so much to not give yourself a shot. If that job makes you happy, you'd undoubtedly keep doing it more and more and grow with it. In a world of boring clones, humanity truly needs your quirk. Humanity needs your 100% you. Now comes the third aspect, the internet. We no longer can avoid the virtual world with so many emotional breakdowns with every swipe. Internet is what you make of it. It's pure power, it's knowledge at your fingertips. In generations of my family, there has never been an artist or a photographer. Not even one person across generation who has belonged to the art industry. And there's no way I could have found my voice if it wasn't for the internet. I fund my projects, I meet clients across the globe, only and solely based out of internet. It truly is a privilege to be in this time, to have access, to connect beyond boundaries. So ask yourself, what is the role of internet in your life right now, and what can you make out of it? Being one of the most cyberbullied nation as well in the world, keep space for emotional health, be kind to one another, and find the best of what's out there for you and really just live. While most answers are found on the web, some will be found between the line and some are found in translations. It's one life, and I hope you go beyond binge watching and live your own heroic mythology every single day. I'd like to end this talk with this poem from Bukowski that sheltered me in times of doubt. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into tank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There's light somewhere. There may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. And the more often you learn to do this, the more life there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. Thank you.